Hey, it's recording, I think. Yep,
Look at us being all cool and professional.
we did
We're
it.
folks, we're down. Okay.
All right. So I guess we should all introduce ourselves since not everyone watching will know all three of us. So who wants to start?
How about the host?
Okay, am I the host?
You
You
are.
are the
And the
host.
recorder. Man, I better be getting paid double for this. Well, I'm Ben Sturkey. So, yeah, hi.
Hi, Ben.
Was I supposed
Sturmy.
to say anything else?
I mean, maybe.
As you can
Introduce
see,
yourself, Ben. Who are you?
okay, as you can see, this is extremely scripted and not on the fly at all. So, I'm Ben Sturkey, live in Mount Carmel, Illinois, and I am a youth minister. So, we're gonna,
Cool.
on to the next.
My name's Josh Morford,
Hi,
and
Josh.
I'm youth pastor at the East Side Church of Christ in Terre Haute, Indiana.
Whoop whoop.
Hey guys, I'm Andy Crow. I am a youth pastor / children's pastor here at Agape Christian Church in Terre Haute, Indiana.
And he has two jobs, so he's better than us. Like that's the rule. I mean, we didn't make it, but that's
Hey,
just how it goes.
I'll take it. I just like to make myself feel special because I know I'm not.
There you go.
We've been chatting for a while now. I'm trying to figure this whole Zoom thing out. So in the future, we're hoping maybe to have some Zoom sessions where more people can hop in. We're still figuring out exactly how many people are allowed to do that, but just how it goes.
Possibly. Well, no. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, hey guys. The reason why we're zooming with you right now is we know that there's just a lot of stuff going on. A lot of news is broken in the last couple weeks. I know Ben and I are still heartbroken that basketball's done.
Yep.
And Andy's heartbroken that baseball isn't even starting.
There's a lot of tears been shed in my house, and
Yep.
It's not okay.
I'm in denial. I'm still not willing to admit that basketball isn't happening right now. No,
Hey
in my
man,
mind,
they were
it
talking
definitely.
on ESPN that they might just reschedule it. I don't believe that, but
No, yeah.
It gave me hope.
Yeah, we could hope, but doubtful. So,
We
yeah.
have faith. But
Yeah.
the reason why everything's canceled and the reason why you're out of school now is the coronavirus, COVID-19. And I know that there's a lot of people that are feeling a lot of different ways. And so we just wanted to get together and talk about this and talk about, what does the Bible say about it? How do we feel about it? So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to have a conversation. And so it might seem weird to you, but we just think we got to talk it out. So Ben, Andy, what are you guys feeling right now? What are you guys thinking?
Well,
Oh,
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
My bad. See, again, totally scripted. I think fear is natural, right? We live in a society where we control everything. Every aspect of our life is planned out and just boom, boom, boom. And when a wrench gets thrown in, it's natural to be afraid. And to an extent, that's okay. I mean, why?
Natural.
I mean, if we didn't have fear, I don't know what we would have, right? And so we just have to start looking to the right places during that fear. What does the Bible say about it? Who are we looking to get counsel from? And then who are we repeating that counsel to? So I think the first step in anything like this is going to be fear.
Yeah.
But we have to take a healthy step in it.
Yeah. It's important to look at different ways that we or just society in general even reacts to it. I have a tweet here that says social media during the pandemic. BuzzFeed says, which quarantine celebrity are you? Take this quiz, LOL. Facebook says, it's all a hoax, folks. Instagram, oh my gosh, this is the worst quarantine selfie. And Twitter's just in all caps says, we're all going to die, right? So everywhere you look, everyone is reacting a different way. Some people are telling you none of this is real. Some people are overreacting like the media wants us to. And then some of us are just kind of in between, realizing we need to take this seriously. It's okay to be afraid, but there's also a right way to handle it too. So we all have different fears, you know?
Yeah. And we really want you guys to understand that it is okay to be worried, right? It's disconcerting when your family goes to the grocery store and you can't buy groceries, right? It's a little weird that you guys are going to be out of school for the next who knows how long, right? But we do want you to know that, we don't have to only be afraid, right? There's other things that we can focus on. There's other things that we can do as Christians. And that's kind of what we wanted to talk to you guys about today, right? Fear, and then also how do we respond to fear?
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of thought of a Bible verse that we want to share with you. Ben, you got that?
We actually wrote it. Don't let Timothy tell you otherwise. It was us. So
you got it pulled up, Ben?
Yeah. 2 Timothy 1:7, not 1 Timothy. I was looking earlier and couldn't find what Josh.
Yeah, I got real confused for a second, dude. I was like, this has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, like this is what? Okay, so but 2 Timothy 1:7 says, this is the NLT, by the way, for God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline.
Amen.
It was deep.
It's almost as deep as Josh's Thanos snap while ago.
I'm telling you, man, he was getting all up in the conspiracy theories, and I just got a random lisp, so it's a good day.
But we want to kind of break that down for you, right? What does it mean when Timothy says that God doesn't give us a spirit of timidity or fear? What do you guys think?
About what you're afraid of, first off in life. Think about what brings you down and how you react in fear. Do you freeze up? Do you run away? What do you do? That's one thing that gets me started on that.
Full disclosure, I am terrified of cornfields. Like, don't look at me like that, but I am legit afraid of cornfields. When you said, what are you afraid of? Like, the first thing that popped in my head was a stupid cornfield.
Dude, there's a story here.
There is.
It's not really. It's just, you start walking into one and somehow get turned around, you're screwed. You're going to get caught.
I'm terrified of cornfields because that means I'm in the Midwest and there is nothing to do if I see a cornfield. I am just going to be bored.
Then there's that.
Yeah. I can go on that. Josh, you go ahead. What are you afraid of?
Well, I mean, I'm afraid of lots of things, but I'm really afraid of, I've always been afraid of, like, rejection, but that's just a whole nother thing. But I want to talk about timidity, too, because when you read, it's a weird word. When you read your Bible and you look up 2 Timothy 7, your Bible might not say fear, right? It might say timidity. And I've always kind of pictured timidity as, like, the guy that kind of, like, the cartoon villain that kind of just, like, sneaks around and peeks around corners, and he's kind of worried about what he's doing. And the opposite of timidity is just running in full force, being stupid, like not even looking where you're going. But
being a total Gryffindor.
Hand in hand, right? You're afraid of what might be around the corner. You're afraid of what the world might look like in a week or two, right? You're afraid of what's going on. But, God didn't give us a spirit of fear or timidity. He instead gave us some other stuff that's really cool. We want to talk to you guys about those too. Andy, you want to talk about love? How we can love now?
Yeah, so, like, when I think of God gave us a spirit of love, right? And what does that mean? I look to what the gospel is. The gospel says good news. And so we as Christians, especially during this time, right, when everybody is freaked out and they're hauled up in their house and social distancing and whatever that looks like to them, we need to be that good news. And so that might mean you're checking on your neighbor. So you have, like myself, I have a neighbor, actually all of my neighbors, I think, are well into their 70s and 80s and have no business being out right
At risk.
And so, my wife and I, we make it a point to call Ann at least every so often. Just, hey, what's going on? What do you need? Can I go to the store for you? And so, especially for our younger ones that are watching that can drive, and we're always being told that we're in the way. Like we were saying earlier, man, this is your time to shine. Check on your neighbors. Let them know that you're there and that you care for them, and be that good news. Go pick them up a gallon of milk. Go roll their trash down, because it affects the older generation differently than it does us. And so set that up. Set the example that you would want set. Love your neighbor, love those around you. Take that extra step to not just worry about your needs. So when you're grabbing the maximum amount of toilet paper and the checkout, I think it's like limited to 3 now, most places, 3 packages. Are you crapping that much? Like, take one to your neighbor who might not have found it. I don't know if I can say that, but I did, so whatever.
TV, Andy, gosh.
Oh, man.
But Andy was telling us earlier about how he sleeps on toilet paper instead of using a pillow. So that's,
Look, I'm just trying to add value to my house, bro. I'm just trying to add value to the house. But if you're not me, check out that neighbor if they see what they need and what you can do to help.
Yeah.
This is the time that when teenagers and young people are getting all this bad publicity because all that people think that you guys want to do are take selfies and these random dances, and it's all about you. You can flip that script and you can make it about your neighbor and about the people that are around you. And I think that this has the potential to be a huge change in society.
Yeah, adding on to that, a big thing with the opportunity to love and to really be the church here is, I know for a lot of us, when the coronavirus COVID-19 stuff really first started hitting, for me, it really hit when the March Madness tournament was canceled, and I was like, this actually feels like a big deal, because they are all about getting that money and all about entertainment. If they're willing to cancel it for now, maybe this is something. I know for a lot of people, the first thought was either fear or the first thought was being really skeptical about things. But one thing that was really encouraging is a lot of people's first thought, like you saw a lot of people on social media, their first thought did go to love. There were so many people who right away when they heard schools were being closed and things with like jobs and whatnot, people possibly not being able to go, a lot of people were instantly worried about like, hey, we need to make sure everyone's got enough food and stuff. I saw from several different friends on Facebook just a post that was going around that basically said like, hey, I've got extra cereal, I've got extra bread, I've got some extra toilet paper. If you find yourself in need of some, let me know. I'll give you some. Around town here in Mount Carmel, the lunch wagon is going around, and they just hop straight into it, making sure let's get meals out to everyone who's not going to be able to get one. They went right into it. I think Josh could hop more in on that. I know your church and the schools in Terre Haute have really been doing a lot, making sure people are getting meals during this time.
Yeah, the Terre Haute churches, I know Andy's church is also helping out with that. I know yesterday they gave out 1,300 meals to kids that don't have food. We're giving out meals every day this week. We're just trying to be love.
What's really cool about that is it's not a school kid. It's if you are under the age of 18 and you need a meal,
you can get one.
No questions, come get it. You're in preschool, you're a homeschooler, you have dropped out of school and don't know what to do, like, take advantage of this.
Yep.
And I think some of what Ben was talking about too kind of leans into some of the other stuff in that verse, right? This idea of a spirit of power and also self-discipline. I know for a lot of young people, if you're looking at the news and tweets and Facebook, right, a lot of young people kind of maybe aren't taking this as seriously as they should.
And right? Even a lot of old people aren't either.
I take my $37 flight and go to spring break or die in the Bahamas or whatever, right? But
I'm not going to lie, that thought crossed my mind, though.
I mean, I was tempted to buy a ticket for the future, not like this, now.
Well, yeah, I got you.
But like that idea of self-discipline is really important, because God has given us a spirit of self-discipline. And just because, you as a 14 or 18-year-old kid probably won't get sick from the coronavirus, right? That self-discipline comes in knowing that you could give the coronavirus to your grandma or your grandpa or the old nice lady that, lives next door to you. And so part of that self-discipline that we're supposed to follow is listening when the government tells us, hey, we're canceling these things for a reason. Stay home. I know it's hard to stay home. You want to go hang out with your friends and you want to go eat out at restaurants that are closed and you're frustrated and you're mad. But remember that God also gave us the spirit of discipline. And he wants to take this seriously. And he wants us to look to the interest of others and not just ourselves.
Yeah, especially you do see, whether it's all ages, who there are people who are saying, well, if I'm not given, I'm not given a spirit of fear, I can trust God and I'll be fine. And that's true. Ultimately, you're going to be fine if you're trusting God. But fear does not equal precaution. Like if you're taking precautionary measures to make sure you're clean and that you're not constantly touching others and that you are having social distancing, that's not showing fear to things of this world. That's showing the self-discipline that not having a spirit of fear leads to. I know that's hard for me. When I see people, I want to hug them. I want to give them a high five. Yeah, it's hard the thought not to. And I've already messed up on that several times. We just got to keep working to do better and to realize, okay, right now there are different ways to express our love while still trying to make sure we're keeping everyone safe. And that doesn't mean that if you do that, you're afraid. That means that you are doing your best to help each other out. And which it's hard to do, but.
Yeah, speaking of the hugging, and that's how my family rolls, man. Like I won't shake your hand, but I'll sure hug you. And so I laugh because 3 days a week now, my boys, they're 3 and 6, they're coming to the office with me, and they see Pastor Dave or his wife or whoever else is here, and they don't get it, and they just randomly run up and wrap them up and hug them, and I'm just like, whatever. Sorry. And so, and I think my 3-year-old, he ran up to my wife last night. He's like, I want a kiss. And we're like, no, not right now. And then he just sits there. But I want a kiss. And so, trying to explain why. And so it's been funny to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big things you want to leave you guys with today. Don't be afraid, but respond in an appropriate way, right? It's okay to be afraid, but you also need to remember that we're given a spirit of power and love and self-discipline, and that I don't know if there's been a better time to be a Christian, because right now people need people to be Christians, right? People need help, and we want to encourage you to help people, look out for others, and really use this time effectively.
Yeah.
That would probably be our challenge to you guys, right? We want to challenge people to love people right now, text people, call people, help people.
Yeah, and I think to add on to that challenge, Josh gave you a good challenge now. Look for opportunities to love people. And I want to add on to the challenge a little. Think of people you wouldn't normally think about, of who's someone that I can show some love to in a way. I know we're already thinking about our loved ones. We're already thinking about our best friends. Think about that person in your youth group that you're not that close with. Think about the person who lives down the street who you know but aren't that close with. Think about just people. Message them. Just say, hey, is there anything I can do to help you out? Is there a way I can pray for you, et cetera, et cetera. So, but be specific in your love.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying if you had any thoughts, so you were already ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on that challenge too. With that, spend time in prayer. And when I say prayer, I don't mean our typical, thank you for this, I'd really like this. If you could throw some more toilet paper at me, that'd be great. Amen. Right? Take time to sit and listen prayer is a conversation between you and God. And if it's a one-sided conversation, that's not a conversation. You're just talking, right? You're giving God a speech. Allow him to respond. And I'm not saying that you're going to audibly hear this James Earl Jones voice come down from heaven, right? But you'll get nudges, you'll get thoughts come into your head. Allow him to speak to you. And, who is it that needs love right now? Who is it that I need to share the good news with, or I need to be good news to? So.
Yeah. Hey, guys, we want you to know that kind of moving on from this, we want to give you guys some tools and some resources that you guys can make sure you're staying plugged in with God. So that's kind of piggybacking off what Andy said. So in a second here, we're going to give you guys some recommendations to some songs that we think would be cool for you to listen to and worship to, right? Because you probably won't be able to go to church for a couple weeks. You might watch a sermon online or whatever, but we don't want you to stop worshiping. And we're also probably going to give you some prayer prompts, right? Kind of like Andy was saying. We really want to encourage you guys to engage with God. Because just because you can't come to church doesn't mean you can't do church.
Yeah.
And so, Ben, you got a song you want to share?
Yeah, I figured we could all give one song. And do real quick before that, just piggybacking off of encouraging to still be talking to each other. First off, we are going to try to figure out this Zoom app ways we could do small group type things together. If you're on Facebook and do want to do something like Facebook Live where people can jump in and comment, same with Instagram Live. And then things like Snapchat and Marco Polo where you can keep sending each other messages. Just because we can't physically meet in a church building, we can still have a lot of church, and using social media, all these different apps, using hopefully this app we figure out a good amount. We can still multiple times a week have church with each other and make sure the church is part of our everyday life, not just secluded to a building. Song I'd pick, I said this is kind of an old one, and it's not like a new one, but it still has a pretty relevant message. I Have the Storm by Ryan Stevenson. I just know a lot of people are going through really tough times right now, and the storm always looks like a different thing to everyone. And but no matter what your storm is, I think that's a really encouraging song. I think God talks to it a lot. So, one of you guys?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, with we're talking about fear, and how that affects us, and we don't have a spirit of fear. And the reason we don't is because when we're going through things, God is going through those things with us. And so the song that I kind of would recommend, it's by Michael W. Smith. I don't know how you feel about him, but it's Surrounded, or Fight My Battles. It talks about, this is how I fight my battles, and no matter what we're doing, we're surrounded by God. So
that's a classic.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Well, since they all gave you old songs, I'll recommend you a slightly newer song. I encourage you to listen to the song "No Longer Slaves" by Bethel. It's just a song that talks about how we're no longer slaves to fear because we're children of God. And I think that's a good thing to remember, right? We are children of God, and He's given us this spirit of power and love and self-discipline. And we need to remind ourselves of that, because there might be some scary times ahead, if we're being honest. We want to encourage you that, even when it looks bad, God is still God, and He's going to find a way to work and redeem the situation.
Absolutely.
So, like Ben said, we're going to do this more often, hopefully. We want to talk with you guys. If you want to leave a comment below wherever this gets posted on how you'd like to engage with all of us, do that.
Yeah, open to ideas always. So.
Yeah.
Hey, I also want to point out, we're here. If you guys need to talk, give us a call, shoot us a text.
Yep.
I mean, we are here for you.
Yep.
Nothing that hasn't changed at all.
That's right.
We are Beardmigos.
What was that? I talked over you. I couldn't hear it.
Trace Beard Amigos.
Hey, look at that.
There you go. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. We'll be back with other things. If there's topics you want to talk about, hit us up. We're always here to talk. We love you guys. You guys got a final sign off? Hit him with the K. Bye.
Deuces.